I just want to know who I am.
I am the lost princess, aren't I?
Okay, tell me if this movie trope sounds familiar. A young protagonist is somehow separated from their parents as a child, only to later discover that they are part of a royal family.
You ever thought about the possibility?
That I could be royalty?
In this video, we're going to look at 3 modern animated movies that share this similar theme, Anastasia, Hercules, and Tangled, to explore why this is such a popular trope in movies. So popular, in fact, that you probably already have a few other movies popping into your mind that follow this pattern. It's clear we love telling these stories, and I believe an explanation as to why can be found in the spiritual truths shared across cultures. Welcome to Movie Meditations. Dust off your family tree and let's jump into the spiritual significance of the shared symbolism in 3 animated classics. So in case you haven't seen these movies in a hot second, here's a quick recap. The 1997 film Anastasia tells the story of a lost Russian princess who suffers from amnesia after hitting her head during an escape from revolutionaries. Years later, Anastasia is living as an orphan named Anya in St. Petersburg. Desperate to discover her true identity and reunite with her family, she embarks on a journey to find her past. Then we have the film Hercules, which also hit theaters in 1997, wherein the title character, who is the son of Zeus and Hera, is stripped of his royal godhood as an infant by Hades and is raised as a mortal on Earth. Despite his divine parentage, Hercules grows up feeling like an outcast due to his immense strength, which he struggles to control. He decides to visit the Temple of Zeus for answers when Zeus's statue comes alive and explains that Hercules is royalty of the gods.
Father?
Didn't know you had a famous father, did you?
And tells him that he can earn back his godhood by becoming a true hero. So Hercules sets out to become a true hero, reclaim his place among the gods, and be with his parents. And lastly, let's jump to the 2010 film Tangled, where the story centers around Rapunzel.
Gesundheit.
A young princess who was stolen as an infant by the wicked Mother Gothel, who uses Rapunzel's magical hair to retain her own youth. Rapunzel has been locked away in a tower for her whole life, and she dreams of seeing the floating lanterns that appear in the sky every year on her birthday, unaware of her true identity as the lost princess of the kingdom. Then one day, a charming thief named Flynn Rider stumbles upon Rapunzel's tower, and she seizes the opportunity to escape, and adventure ensues. So what's the deal? Why do we keep telling variations of these stories over and over again? Why do we love the idea of a protagonist finding out their true origin as part of a royal lineage? Some may even protest that these stories lead to a level of entitlement or even narcissism. If the protagonists are always turning out to be royalty in these stories that we tell children, then it might make them think that they should be treated like little princes and princesses. They may start to become entitled brats who think that the world revolves around them and that other people just haven't recognized it yet. Maybe this could be a legitimate concern if the real meaning and symbolism behind these stories is not teased out. So now let's take a look at this deeper level of symbolism and the truth about our human nature that they point to. So on one level, on the level of our social lives, on our connection with others in society, we are not all royalty. This is a fact. We do not all come from families of great wealth or power or status. However, the meaning behind this trope is relevant on a level deeper than the worldly plane. Inside each of us, there is a part of our human nature that is so magnificent and powerful that the only things which come close to representing that part of us is the royalty of kings and queens. The protagonists at the beginning of these stories, not knowing their true royal origin, represent us humans not knowing our divine origin, having forgotten our connection with the infinite, with the divine, with God.
Hear me and answer my prayer. I need to know. Who am I?
Hercules, Rapunzel, and Anastasia have all forgotten that they are royalty. And because they are unaware of this, the status quo of their lives at the beginning of the stories are characterized by some sort of lack represented in different ways. Anastasia, despite believing she has family waiting for her in Paris, doesn't remember them and is stuck living in poverty as an orphan until she accepts the call to adventure. For Rapunzel, although she is completely unaware that Mother Gothel stole her from her true parents, as she turns 18, she starts to feel the captivity of her situation, and this lack of freedom starts to pinch her. Something inside of her is drawn to the lights that shine every year on her birthday. Something is calling her to discover the truth of her birth, her origin, both biological and spiritual.
And I can't help but feel like they're meant for me.
Like Anastasia, she has a hesitation toward the call to adventure, but eventually she accepts the call and starts her journey to discover the truth about the lights and ultimately her origin. These protagonists are living lives of poverty, captivity, or rejection.
Keep that That freak! Away from here!
And their journeys to discover their true origins represent our spiritual journeys to reunite with our divine source. And the reconnection to this divine source is associated with total abundance, freedom, and belongingness. One of my favorite quotes from my meditation teacher, Gurudev, in his recent book goes, "Our memory is very short. We forget our eternal nature of life. The moment we become aware of our source and our own infinite nature, our whole life transforms. It's like someone suddenly realizing how wealthy he is." In a way, this quote is a summary of this trope from a spiritual perspective, and this is something that has echoed in traditions around the world for time immemorial. Joseph Campbell and Carl Jung wrote extensively about how these archetypal stories that are told time and again represent a phenomenon that's happening inside of all of us that are on the spiritual path. One of Joseph Campbell's most famous quotes goes, "Where we had thought to travel outward, we shall come to the center of our own existence. And where we had thought to be alone, we shall be with all the world." And that idea of coming to the center of our own existence being an experience of total abundance, contentment, joy, and true power is one that has been there in traditions of both the East and the West. That's why I believe this verse from Paul's letter to the Philippians, chapter 4, verses 12 through 13, is so often quoted and resonates with us so deeply. "I have learned the secret of being content in any and every situation, whether well-fed or hungry, whether living in plenty or in want. I can do all things through him who gives me strength." Kings and queens represent those feelings of complete contentment and strength. And so once we know that we are of divine origin, once we can feel that experientially, not just intellectually, that we are connected to the power that created the universe, then all sense of poverty, captivity, or rejection turns to total abundance, freedom, and belongingness. And how to feel that truth, how to actually experience this? Well, the tools of breathwork and meditation I have found to be extremely beneficial in helping to let go of the tensions and traumas that cover up this deepest part of ourselves. If you've made it this far in the video, thank you. And please leave a comment about what interests you most about this topic and your personal experiences with breathwork and meditation, if any. I hope this was enough for you to meditate on until next time.